The Space Wolves are back! So recently I've been giving the Black Templar and every other model in my collection some attention, but it's finally time to get back to the Space Wolves army box with the model I've been most excited to do, the Wolf Priest. When this box was announced, the Wolf Priest really stood out to me as my favourite looking model. It was incredible. Like, I thought, this is the best looking thing ever and I cannot wait to paint it. I would have normally liked to leave this to last, similar to what I did with the Marshal, where I wanted to sort of master the Space Wolves first and then jump into like the best favourite model in the box and see if I can make it really good. But I realised this thing doesn't really look very Space Wolfy colour-wise. Like, a lot of his armour is black, it's got some yellows and some bits on him somewhere. Yeah, like, the majority of the armour is just black, with a couple like gold trims. It kind of looks like, looking at just his shin pad, it kind of looks a bit like a Chaos Terminator. So in a way, doing that Chaos Terminator like a few weeks back might actually come in handy for this thing. But yeah, let's not waffle on for too long because I want to really take my time with this and really sink in a lot of hours to make him look really good. So let's get started. Here we go, one tiny little sprue. It always surprises me how like small the sprues are for these big characters, because I was actually looking at the sprue for the Battle Leader, like the big head taker guy, and it's the same. It's just like one small sprue. But the models are so big and expensive and shiny. So yeah, it always surprises me. So, where's the book? Looking cool. There's some cool stuff on it. I'm definitely excited to look at what the options are. So let's start off with, cool, so not much choice for the start, just a body. So 4, 5, 6 and 7 to make half a body. I've also been thinking actually, like, should I still include the building section? Because sometimes I feel like, who really cares? Like, are you just here for the painting? I know some people have said they like the build, so I keep it in. Plus also, I've been realising recently, like, there's a lot of customisable options that a lot of people don't really go into. So in preparation for this, I watched a painting video. Like, okay, kind of how do you paint it, what colours do I need and whatnot. And I realised, like, looking at this, there's so many customisable options, like the hood, the different weapons and stuff. And I feel like you kind of miss that in a lot of videos when it comes to like, oh, just here's how you paint it. So I think going forward, I am definitely going to keep this sort of building section in because I think it's quite fun to just explore the different options and the different choices you can make in building. Because I feel like, yeah, not a lot of people go into it. And I guess I do timestamp the video, so I mean, if people aren't really interested in building, you can just jump straight to the painting. So next up, we've got the other leg, which is 8 and 9. And yeah, this is what I'm talking about, the customizable options. Because I didn't even realise you could give him a gun until like I looked at the book, and the videos I watched, everyone gave him the knife. So you can either have the gun or the knife. And I mean, I do love the idea of just being like a cool battle priest, but just carries a gun as well. So I think I'm gonna give him that. Oh, I was thinking as well. Yeah, he's missing like something on his chest, and I didn't realise the necklace is actually its own part. That's quite cool. Well, that'd be even cooler if there was some options for it. But let's do that. So we've got 8 and 9. Then we'll give him the gun and his other arm and the necklace. Well, I say that, these are probably going to be sub-assembled. So we'll leave the guns off. We'll attach the leg and the necklace. There we go, there's the necklace done and the 2 arms. We are going to sub-assemble them, but they've got these little knobs on them. You can see, yeah, look at that, they slot into, you can kind of see what they look like. I think, yeah, the gun was a good shout, because I do like the look of, yeah, this like the gun and the staff, like a battle mage, like he's casting spells and shooting people. That looks awesome. I guess if we move all of these excessive pieces all out the way, and then go on to the final section, that is just the backpack, which is 18, and that's no choice. Then they've got the helmet here, and I knew instantly I want the hood. Like, these faces are cool, but there's no question for me. I like this cool, menacing hooded figure that you don't get to see. He's kind of lurking in the background. So let's cut out this cool looking helmet, the backpack, and then try and work out how to prime and build this thing. So I do think I am just going to be really pedantic and just break it down to like these 9 parts, which might seem a little bit silly, but it'll be a fun experiment to try. Yeah, so this is a little bit excessive, but I think we'll give it a try, why not? I do want this guy to be the best he can be, so I'll play it super safe. We've got 9 pieces. So I'll quickly pin all of these into blue tack or cork or whatever, and then cover them in ghoul grey, and then we'll come back and they'll all be primed. So let's make a start with this thing. What we're going to do first of all these panels on the knee, his feet. Actually, this knee's going to be yellow, so we can leave that. But this section, the belt, and then all of this stuff and around the back, all going to be Black Templar. Similar to how we've done previous Space Wars, we're going to be using a lot of contrast paints, just because I've been following the War Hipster Contrast Plus series. I've been really enjoying that, and I really like the contrast paints. So I'm just going to try and hone my skills with contrasts and see if we can get better at them. And there we go, looking very Black Templar-y, not just because I use Black Templar contrast, but just giving that vibe of the horrendously over-the-top amount of black paint. So what I think we'll do now, just keep an eye on this paint as it dries to see if anywhere needs a little touch-up. But in the meantime, just going to stick with the bottom half and do Retributor armour on this little like trim on his shins, and then also some Imperial fist for the knee on the here, because it's meant to be yellow. I think, is there any patterns on it, or is it just meant to be a yellow knee? Oh, it's got a transfer on it, unreal, so we can put a transfer on that later. But yeah, just some Retributor and Imperial fist with some details. Oh, I think actually this necklace is meant to be Retributor as well, so we might as well do that while we're here. Always coming together now. It's proper intimidating. Yeah, look at that. I mentioned it at the start, but it's giving me big like Chaos Terminator vibes with the black and the gold. Have I got him around? Yeah, there he is. Yeah, it's very similar to this, you know, like black and the gold, big intimidating, but I do like it. It's very cool. So moving on though, I'm going to do some of the details. I think I'm going to paint. I want to do the belt. So the trim of his belt is red. Bone section in the middle is going to be like a Wraithbone, or maybe Wraithbone with skeleton horde contrast. I don't know yet. And then I might do the necklace as well, just because it's up there and it's sort of half done already. Yeah, it looks like it's the same as, yeah, it looks like a necklace of teeth. So we'll just do the same thing we always do with them, which is I'm going to do some Dryad bark for the leather, like the strap. But then there's some rings to hold the teeth in, and the teeth themselves will be Zandri dust. Oh, the rings will be Leadbelcher, obviously. So yeah, let's just do the belt and the necklace now. Oh my god, so we've actually done quite a bit on this torso, you know. There's only like the leather and the fur left. Yeah, look at that. Looking really cool. Man, like I always say it, but that's my favourite part about Warhammer, is all the tiny little details. And yeah, getting into these little teeth, like one tooth at a time. Each individual like marking on the belt. There's like, this guy's got a lot. So far, living up to the expectations. But as you can see, it's late. It's like 10:30 almost. So yeah, the next thing you'll see, it'll be morning, and we'll probably carry on with this, because we're going to get the Cygor brown from the shop as well, so I can start doing some of the fur. So yeah, we'll do all these little trinketed belts in the morning. there's all of the little details on the front done, and wow, yeah, this was really difficult. I knew it would be because there's so much going on there. Like, if we zoom in, yeah, not to highlight all of my mistakes and how bad it looks, but there's just so much going on in this little section here. There's the fur, there's a belt hidden in there with some like bolts, there's a pouch, a rune, 2 pouches, a big holder here, some more fur. It's just been really awkward and hard to paint. I think this might be the hardest thing I've ever painted. Like the amount of small detail like bundled in. I'm just looking around at my models. Yeah, this is way like the hardest thing I've ever painted, I think. Even the Marshal and the Impulsor, yeah. There's just so much detail all bundled into a small section, and even now I can still see stuff I've missed. Like there's a bit just there that's got like no paint on it. You can see the model. Cool, so next up I just want to do some washes and some highlights. So I think I'm going to put a little bit of Agrax Earthsahde on the gold, and then I might try some of that Dark Reaper Thunderhawk blue on the inside of his leg. Or similar to what I did with the Chaos Terminator actually. Yeah, so you can kind of see around the trim I put some Dark Reaper and Thunderhawk. Actually, I think I just put just straight Thunderhawk blue just on the trim of the black. So let's just do that quickly, and then we can maybe move on to something else. Because I think that's everything. Sweet, I'm pretty sure that's all of the torso done. Yeah, done all the base colours, the highlights, the shades. I say done. I got a feeling that later on when we put the cloak on and really bring it all in, I might come back and maybe touch some stuff up or change some things, I'm not sure. But overall, I'm actually fairly happy with it. I still stand by that it's probably the hardest thing I've painted. And it's still a little bit wet with some of the washes like the non-oils and the Agrax Earthsahde is. Speaking of, actually, I did change my mind with the gold. I went for something different this time. I went for a Reikland Fleshshade instead of Agrax Earthsahde, just because it's a little bit lighter. I've seen people use some other shades on gold. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a reddish one. And Reikland is similar. It's kind of like a dark kind of red. I know it's meant for flesh because Fleshshade, but I thought I'd try it on the gold, and it's quite cool, you know? It tints it with a kind of bronze look rather than like a dirty, grimy earth shade. So I'm keen to see what that looks like when it's fully dried. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. It's cool. I think I want to move on to the arms next. I've already done some of the armour on them, and I highlighted that armour just now, as you've seen. All that's left on these are the gloves, which are going to be Cygor brown, and the weapons, which will be some kind of red, I think Baal red for the staff, probably the gun as well. I'm not sure. I need to look up some reference pictures because, again, one annoying thing is there's so many choices, which is great, and I love the customization of Warhammer, but it makes like finding references so hard because I've got 2 guys I've watched and they've both used the knife, so I need to find some other ones, but we'll see what that is. But yeah, Cygor brown for the gloves first of all. Oh, there's some gems on them as well. Oh, I like doing the gems, they're cool. And then the staff will be Baal red, Balthazar, and Wraithbone probably. Let's have a look. There's quite a bit done on the arms, you know, looking really good. Staff's looking cool as well. I just love the red and the gold. It contrasts really well and looks really nice. This gun is black actually as well. I mentioned just a minute ago that I'm not sure if it's red or black or what. Yes, it's a standard black pistol with some highlights. So that's what we'll do next. We'll fill in some of these gems on the gloves, or silver and red and whatnot, and then also colour in the gun. So that's the gems and the studs done, and you'll notice they are a little bit messy because I've actually been away for a week. So just while I prepped the Black Templar for the gun, I actually went on holiday about a week ago, so I haven't picked up a paintbrush in about 7 or 8 days. And it's quite funny to see me be a little bit sloppy, a little bit messy as I get back into the rhythm of things. But it's okay, it's just some tiny little details. Maybe I'll tidy them up at the end. But yeah, like I mentioned, next up we're just going to slap some Black Templar on this gun. Cool, so that's the gun all done. I've done Black Templar. I tried dry brushing a little bit of the Dark Reaper on rather than edge highlighting it, and I think I prefer the edge highlight, to be fair. It doesn't really look, as prominent. And we did the Thunderhawk blue just on the tops, just this section up here. Just to be the most prominent section, or the section facing up, sorry, where the light would be. So last but not least on these arms is just this skeleton section here. And I've been seeing conflicting stuff, like some have got it as gold, some have got it as Wraithbone, some have got it as all sorts. I think I am going to go with Wraithbone, and then I'm going to Agrax Earthsahde pretty much everything on this staff. So like the reds, the bone, and the Balthazar. Oh, actually no, sorry, I'm lying to you. I'm going to do Reikland Fleshshade on the gold, just because we're trying out something a bit new. But for the bone, and I think the red, I will stick with that Agrax Earthsahade. Alright, so his arms are all done and glued on, and it's looking quite cool. Yeah, looking good. It's starting to add to it now. I was getting a little bit anxious looking at the arms and the body on their own, because I was like, they're a bit messy, I kind of, not incoherent, but like, I don't know, it doesn't look great just looking at it like that. But now that the arms are being added, yeah, I feel a bit better now that things are starting to build up on it. I'm keen to do this next step because I feel like it's going to add like so much. Like, while there's loads of detail on here, and like I kind of mentioned earlier, this has been really hard because there's so much detail. I feel like these next bits are going to be the big swaths that kind of like cover loads of surface area and kind of bring it in. So let's do that. Let's quickly slap on the shoulders and the cloak and start painting them. You know what? The skeleton horde was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, you know? I was a little bit anxious about it because sometimes I find it comes out a bit coffee stainy, a bit light, like I mentioned. It's kind of a bit meh. But actually with this in the inside, I applied it on really thick and heavy. I was like scooping it and just like lathering it on. And you know what? Yeah, not too bad. It's still a little bit wet and kind of hard to see, but at a glance, I quite like it. And it kind of fits this guy, because I like going on to the Cygor brown, like wash over the top. I quite like the idea he's all like grimy and dirty and like downtrodden. It's like very like natural. Like, you know, he's like a priest from the mountains. He's like covered in all his fur and his teeth and his trinkets. He's not going to be like pristine and clean like some kind of space marine. Like, he's, yeah, just grimy and dirty. Yeah, I like that Cygor brown. I like how it sits in. Is it going to come up? It's kind of hard because it's still a little bit wet, but like in the divots and like the lines and the indents and the cape, it kind of sits in quite well. It looks really nice. You know what? Loving that. It's really coming together. Like I mentioned earlier, I was a bit worried about how the centre looks on its own, and I was keen to see what it looks like with all the extra bits. And yeah, this cape has definitely kind of like framed it and really bringing it all in and adding a lot of like large, flat surfaces to it, because it's kind of hard to look at a model when it's like loads of tiny little details here. It doesn't really paint a picture. It just looks a bit messy. But now it's kind of been blanketed by this huge canvas of red and light brown skeleton horde. Yeah, I love it. Although I will say, I definitely should have painted this cloak separately and then glued it on for the fur, because yeah, like I mentioned, getting in some of these sections was really hard. In fact, even now I can see some stuff that I've missed, especially around this back bit. Like you probably see that. I imagine the filming for the inside of this cape was a nightmare, because I was just like this, kind of jabbing in and getting all sorts of angles. But yeah, lesson learned. But I'm super excited to do this fur next. Oh, actually no, I've got the tassels on the front. What are they? I know it's Imperial Fist yellow, and what the? It's a cloth either side. Oh, looks like skeleton horde. I'll double check that and see. I mean, you'll see when it pops up in the side, the little paint pot. But yeah, I know this strip down the front is Imperial Fist yellow, and then we'll see what the tassels either side are. Oh, there's some bone trinkets actually as well. That's pretty cool. I imagine that would just be Balthazar. There he is, all of his fancy tassels done, and I'm a big fan of this. I absolutely love the way the runes like sort of stand out with the dark colours and the yellow contrasts it. Absolutely incredible. It looks good now that it's done, because when I was painting it, it was a bit touch and go. Like when it was just plain yellow with a little bit of skeleton horde, it was like, oh, I don't know about this, it's a bit flat. And in the tutorial I'm watching, it said to use like a yellow shade, but I don't have it. So I just slapped some Nuln Oil over the top, and I think the Nuln Oil's really added a lot of depth to the runes and the markings. But that's looking good so far for all of the tassels and the cloth. I might come back and highlight some of the cape, I'm not sure. I do like it being really dark and dirty and grim at the minute, so we'll see how it gets on. But next up, I'm going to move a little bit further up to the top and do this fur next, I think. I've still got to do the shoulder pads, like these little bits underneath, and I will do them eventually, but I think I want to do this big, huge, chunky section next, just because it covers so much. And I think that will really just be the cherry on top, like the proper finishing touch almost. So I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the fur on the front. I'm going to do like a brown mix of Skeleton Horde, Agrax, Earthsahde and Cygor brown. Sweet, so there's a lot of wet blending done, lots of layers of colours piled on top of each other and wet and damp, although it's a little bit fill in there so I can just kind of wipe away some of it. But luckily I need to go to the gym now, so in about an hour and a half I'll be back and it should all be dry. We can take a good look at it. But yeah, just sort of amalgamations of all different colours and different shades. Oh, this side is a bit darker than this one. Maybe we can wipe a little bit of it away and put it in here. Oh, there we go, look at that. Yeah, cool. So we'll come back in about an hour and a half and see how this looks. And there's all the fur, fully dried. It's looking pretty good. I mean, it's a little bit all over the place, and I think I've been a bit heavy-handed in some sections. So like if we look at the back, this one is, oh my god, yeah, look at the camera, it's even worse. Like, this is so dark compared to this. You can see I think I put a bit too much of maybe the Cygor brown to darken it down. And this side's a bit lighter, but I mean, one of the things I like about the fur is because it's meant to be a natural thing. It's not like just cut and dry, like this colour here, this colour here. It's just very natural and blurs all into each other. So it is quite fun, quite cool. So even though it is a bit all over the place, it looks more natural that way, I guess. But that's quite cool. So next up, just to finish up this section, which I can't believe we've almost done, is the shot. Well, we've got these little tassels actually. We'll do the same. We'll do like a mixture of the 3 browns, like Earthsahde, Skeleton Horde, and Cygor on the tassels down here, and then also we'll fill in these shoulder pads. I think this one's supposed to be black, so I'll make it black Templar with a gold trim, and this one's supposed to be yellow, so I'll make it, oh, I'm not sure, Contrast Imperial Fist or Avalanche Sunset, one of the two, with a gold trim. There we go, all of the torso done. The shoulders, the cloak, all the details on the front. In a weird way, I thought it was never going to end, and it also went really quickly. Like, I think the actual main torso of all the belt and the chains and the necklace and the details, that took ages because it was constantly like doing bits and bobs. And then the shoulders and the cape went a little bit quicker than I thought, you know? And do you know what? I'm actually really impressed by it. It's a little bit messy on some sections. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to see on this cloak just here, that's like some browns and some reds where I've kind of gone over a little bit, and I think that's something to do with contrast paints that I want to work on, because with normal paints, if you go over a bit, you can just like touch it up with some other paints, but because contrasts are quite thin and diluted, it's hard to like go over them with other contrast paints. So yeah, like the tassels are Skeleton Horde and Imperial Fist. Is it Imperial Fist? Yeah, Imperial Fist, and they kind of like overlapped in some sections. But I want to keep using contrasts to train myself to get a little bit tidier. I think that'll be good in the long run. So there's not much left, to be fair. I can't tell if I feel like this has gone really quick because it has gone quick, or because I went on holiday halfway through and took a break. But either way, I can't believe how close we are to the end. We've just got the backpack, which is like almost done, to be fair. I've done with the black base coat. It's just the skull on top, which will probably be Wraithbone. Yeah, just like Wraithbone with some trinkets on it. A little bit of silver on the backpack, and then the hood. And I think the hood is going to be fairly straightforward as well, just red with the skull. I'm a little bit anxious about this, just because I think it will look so good if it's done right, but I'm a bit hit and miss at the minute with skulls. I'm not sure how to get a good look down. I don't know if Wraithbone and Agrax Earthsahde is like a good shout or what. Maybe Skeleton Horde on its own. So what I want to do next is just finish up the backpack and then the hood, and then we can move on to the base. So out of the two things we've got left, I think I want to start with the backpack, just because there's not much left. It's just some silver on the little details, and then some Wraithbone on the top. Wow, this model is the epitome of hidden details, more than it looks. I don't know. I feel like every single section of this model, I look at, I'm like, ah, it's okay, I'll just do like little bits here and there, and it's kind of alright. And then the more and more I do it, I'm like, oh wait, no, there's something here and there's something there. Like on this guy, I didn't realise there was there's like a gem hidden in there. There's one rune there, another one on the front, another one on the side, and there's like wraps as well. Like there's loads going on this. There's so many tiny little things, and I think I've also kind of messed up the skull a little bit. And again, I'm not sure what I should be doing with these. I did Wraithbone. I put, I think, maybe a little bit too much Agrax Earthsahde on, and then I tried to sort of like touch it up with the brush with more Wraithbone, and it looks like patchy. I think because I look in the back, I've got this one that I quite like the look of. Yeah, they're kind of similar. I think what I'm going to do, I think maybe I'm just putting a little bit too much Agrax Earthsahde on. I think maybe what I should do is just put, like, honestly, like just a real thin layer over the top and not coat it too much. So I was going to do Skeleton Horde, but I feel like with the amount of Skeleton Horde we've got on the inside of the cape, the tassels, the back, I feel like if I did that again, it'd be a bit too much of the same colour. So I'm going to stick with the Wraithbone and Agrax Earthsahde for these, and the helmet as well, because it's also like a sort of a skull. I just realised this man loves his skulls, doesn't he? Wow. It's kitted out with all of them. But yeah, this had a lot more detail than I thought. Also, this probably needs to be silver. I'll just touch it up in a minute. But yeah, wow, loads more. This is looking kind of cool though. I'm keen to see what it looks like on the back. But final piece now, this skull. So yeah, the head is supposed to be, the hood is going to be the same as the cloak, just Baal red, and then I'm going to put some Cygor brown to like darken it down and make it a bit grotty. Then the face is mostly Wraithbone, and there's two little pipes with some red eyes. Unbelievable. I think I found the only part of the model that's not covered head to toe in hidden little details. So this hood is just hood, eyes, and some skulls, and that's it really. Nice and simple, but looks real good. I do think the missing part for the skull situation was watering down the Agrax Earthsahde. Because if you look at it on the backpack, it's very like grimy and like dark and dingy, whereas I quite like that thin layer, that kind of skull bony look. So yeah, definitely in the future to water it down. So what we'll do is we'll glue these onto the body. Then we're not done there though. We'll come back and we'll get some bits of base in to play around with. Oh. And there he is, delicately balanced against the glass, just because a couple teeny tiny bits are still drying. But while that's drying, I do actually want to take this guy one step further and create a little custom base for him. So I've been playing around with like cork and custom bases in my spare time, just to kind of get a feel for it. So I've done these two. I did this head taker off camera, and you can kind of see it looks like he's standing on a bit of a platform. It's just some cork that I've sort of glued to the base, pinned him into and painted. And then similarly, this is the early stages of another one, so you can kind of see it right at the beginning. It is just, yeah, some of this this cork that I've just chopped up and spread out into a base, and I've painted it like grey and all sorts to make it look like rocks. And I kind of want to do something similar to this guy, or at least try, because I know he's got these sort of like rocks he's already standing on as part of the model. So what we're going to do, this could be an absolute car crash, what I want to do is really elevate him super like high, like he's at the back standing raised above everyone else, but all of like the soldiers are, yeah, I like the idea that you got like the normal soldiers just like at ground level standing on the floor, and then you've got like this guy who's just like risen up on a platform overseeing the whole battlefield. I've got this cork that I've kind of started to arrange into some platforms. It's kind of hard at this angle. Yeah, kind of like this. So what do we do? We've got these two that are raised up. I might pin them into these, and then this is like a side piece. But that's what we're going to do next. This is the final part of the process. I'm just going to see if we can make a custom base out of this cork. So yeah, we glued down some of this cork, we hacked away at it with some pliers to give it some natural shape, just because It'd look weird if it was all just circular and perfectly round at the edges. Looking all nice and bumpy. Also sprayed some white primer on it just so the paint's got something to stick to. I mean, didn't get everywhere, didn't get here, but that'd be fine. So next up, we're just going to give it some colour. So we're going to take some Eshin grey, and then we're going to dry brush some Celstra grey over the top. That's the rock recipe I've kind of been using for the past few months. I don't know where I got it from, but I like it. It's kind of cool. Right, so here's the rocks on our base, all painted and done. Like I mentioned, it's just the Eshin grey and the Celstra grey kind of highlights. And it looks a bit iffy at the minute, but I promise you, once you put all the snow on and stuff, it looks a lot better, a lot more realistic. But overall, it's quite good. I like how chunky it is now, raised up. It's definitely the vibe I was going for, like, so it'd be a raise up on a platform really high above. I've done the same on the rocks on his feet here, because he's actually got some on the base already. Just painted them grey with some dry brushes. So, all that's left to do is to pin him in. I think what I'll do is I'll cut these all clips out and push them into the rocks and glue them into there so it's a bit more stable than if he was just glued onto the cork. And then we can slap some of the, what is it, Valhalla Blizzard? Yeah, we can slap loads of this Valhalla Blizzard over to fill in the gaps and make it look a little bit more realistic. Alright, here we go. Underneath this very mug is the most detailed model I've ever painted. So let's have a take a look at him, shall we? Oh my god, look at that. How cool is he? Yeah, this definitely lived up to my expectations in terms of like how cool the model looks. Like the huge, massive cape, the guns, the hood. Yeah, overall, I absolutely love this model. It's incredible. It's a lot brighter than I thought it was going to be. Just at first glance, I don't know why I thought it was going to be this big, grim, dark model. There's actually quite a lot of colour to him in terms of the cape, the tassels, the fur and everything. But yeah, first impressions, I absolutely love him. It's so cool. It's definitely lived up to that expectation, and that hype I had as like one of the best looking models in the box. So actually, if we chuck him on a podium, it might be a bit easier. Yeah, that's a bit better. We can spin around and take a look at all of his details because there's so many. It's definitely the most detailed model I've ever painted. It actually caught me off guard. I didn't expect it to be this detailed and this difficult. It's one of the hardest I've ever painted. Mostly because of how much detail there is on him. Like on the torso, there's pouches, there's fur, belts, there's these like tassels, there's gems. Like every single bit I picked up, I was like, this looks okay. And then as I got closer, as I looked like closer and closer, I was like, oh, there's a gem here. Oh, there's a rune here. Oh, there's some fur. Like it just kept piling on. But I guess if we go over the paint job from the top down, I wasn't too happy with this skull when I did it. I thought it was a bit too grimy and a bit too messy. But now that I'm looking at it from further away as a part of the model, it looks a lot better. It kind of matches the vibe and it's not too bad. I think I was being a bit too harsh on myself. I mean, when you lean in, like if you really lean in, and try and get close, like yeah, you can see some of the faults, but I mean, most of the time you'll just be looking at it from like this far away. It does kind of fit in with the vibe. Going down, in terms of the hood, actually we'll start with the fur. The fur was quite cool. I wish it was a teensy tiny bit darker, just because this model is actually a lot brighter and more vibrant than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a really dark, intimidating model. But there's actually a lot of colour in terms of like the yellows, the reds. Like it's got dark undertones, but at a glance it's quite vibrant, you know? So I do kind of wish I could have toned down some of the fur, made it a little bit darker, just to kind of give it some more of that menacing look, to contrast this bright yellow and bright red. Overall, it's okay. I definitely think it's something I can work on in the future, because it's a bit patchy. Although I guess natural fur is kind of a bit patchy and all over the place. So it is what it is. I think it looks quite cool. I do like it. And then in terms of the actual like cloth, like the red hood and the red cape, I absolutely love it, you know. I really like the Baal red with the Cygor brown kind of wash over the top to make it just like a dark, dirty, grimy cape of this guy that's been living in like the snowy mountains for ages, like living with the wolves. So I was thinking about putting some like highlights on the hood and the cape, but I thought No, I quite like it just being grimy. Like I mentioned, like he's been living amongst wolves and this like grim, dark, isolated man who's just been like, yeah, roughing it all his life. Like it's quite cool. I like that dirty, grimy look. So didn't really go for any highlights. And then also the tassels. These were okay. I kind of wish I could have maybe made the runes stand out. Maybe dropped actually a bit of like black Templar or some kind of like dark black contrast paint into the runes to make them stand out a bit more. I did use some Nuln Oil, and that's kind of given them some prominence, but I kind of wish I could make them a bit bolder. In fact, maybe I'll try that in the future actually. Maybe I'll come back to it. And then the gloves, yeah, the gloves, actually we'll go over the gloves and the torso details because it's kind of the same vibe with all of it. It's quite messy is my only issue. Like some of these silver bolts overlap a little bit. Some of these, like the fur and the belt and the details and the colours, like kind of blend into each other because it was so hard to do. There was so many little details. It was really hard to like distinguish each one, keep them in their own lines essentially. Like there were a lot of overlapping colours, and that was definitely the hardest part of this model. But yeah, all those tiny little details definitely showed me where I need to improve, which is good. It's good to learn from the model. I need to get a lot tidier and a lot neater on these teensy tiny little details. Like I don't know if you can see on the gloves that gem and the silver, and then on this side as well. Like it's, yeah, a bit messy and a bit blotchy. But yeah, overall, absolutely love the paint job. Just wish it was a little bit cleaner and tidier. Oh, actually, one minor thing. Actually, I used Reikland Fleshshade for the gold rather than Agrax Earthsahde. It's quite good. I quite like the red tint it's given to it rather than like a dark, grimy look. Especially because like the cape, like the inside skeleton horde and the Cygor brown and all that, the dark, grim dirtiness of it. It's quite cool to have like a red tint to the gold rather than like just more grime and dirt on all of it. Nice little contrast. It's good. And then yeah, onto my current obsession. The base, man, look at that. Look how cool the basing is. This is definitely what I was going for, like these huge rocks he's standing on. And now that I've added some fake water, the snow, and like, the black rim and everything, yeah, it definitely brings it all together. Makes it look like he's got this huge like mountain he's standing on to oversee on the battlefield. I absolutely love that. It's so cool. It's definitely my current obsession. It's just piling cork onto bases and making them look so over the top and extra. I feel like it's kind of cheating. Like I think it makes him look better than he actually is because he's got this cool, massive rock he's standing on. Yeah, I couldn't be happier with the base. It's turned out exactly how I wanted it. I love having that idea in my head of like, okay, this is what I want it to look like, and it also turns out like that. Just absolutely spot on. Really, really cool. But yeah, overall, super happy with this model. I absolutely love it. It's so cool. It's definitely lived up to all the expectations and the hype, and then with the basing, actually exceeded those expectations. There we go, the most detailed model I've ever done. And yeah, this was really, really fun. It was really rewarding, and it really caught me off guard. Like I've mentioned it 100 times, but I didn't expect it to be so intricate and tricky and like a bit of a nightmare to paint at times. But it's super rewarding to see it at the end, and it looks really, really cool. I also really enjoy it when a model's like, I like painting a model, being like, this is done, it's cool, there you go, look at it, it's great. But I also like it when I can paint a model and I'm like, okay, this has shown me where I need to improve, what I need to work on, and it's taught me some lessons, and this thing definitely falls into that category. Like, oh, it was a journey, but it was really, really fun. And I'm kind of a little bit sad because it was, yeah, the model I was most excited to do in the box, and it's done now. So that's like the peak of the Space Force Army box kind of done. Like I've still got other models I want to do. Like I am quite excited actually to do the battle leader, the super head taker. I'm really keen to do that actually, to be fair. So maybe I wouldn't say we're completely done with the box in terms of like excitement, but this was definitely like cherry on the cake. Definitely like the peak of the mountain in terms of Space Wolf so far. Really, really good. And also, yeah, I love those. It looks so cool. Like what a cool looking model, man. Like yeah. It's incredible. It's so different from the other Space Wolves and just looks so like menacing and intimidating and just so like if you saw an army of Space Wolves, like, oh, they're kind of cool. But then if you saw him at the back, you're like, oh, he's the big guy. Oh my god, he's like, what was that? Like, he stands out. And also, on that same vein, like the whole basing situation, I'm so happy with. Like, I love that he stands on this big platform. I'll upload a picture because I put him on my shelf, and it gets the effect that I wanted. Like, you get like the little sea of like Space Wolves, and at the back, like he's kind of raised up above everyone, like overseeing the battle and whatnot. But like, it's cool to have him like at the back, kind of intimidatingly, like menacingly, and standing over everyone. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with the look and also the basing effect that I got. But that's it for this guy. What's next though is, so I think I'm going to do what's he called? The Wolfguard Battle Leader. I think I'm going to do the Wolfguard Battle Leader next, just because he looks incredible. It looks so cool. And I feel like, again, similar to this guy, it's like the pinnacle of the box. Like that's it. Like once we've done that, that's like, we've reached the top of the mountain. And then that's this box. Not done, because there's still things I need to do in there, but I feel like almost I feel really accomplished. I feel like, yeah, I've really like smashed the Space Wolves. And then after that, got the new Black Templar models. So I actually ordered the two new ones. What are they even called? So we've got the Crusade Ancient and Execrator. I don't know how to pronounce it, but the 2 new Black Templar models, they're coming. I ordered them the other day. They went up for pre-order last week while I was on holiday in Disneyland. So I was like watching the parade, like frantically trying to pre-order models, but I cannot wait for them. I absolutely love going back to the Black Templar last 2 videos ago. We went back to the Black Templar and I did that Intercessor Sergeant, and that was so much fun. I forgot how much I love the Black Templar until I came back to them and I was like, oh yeah, these are like, it's like coming home. It's like the first like proper army I did and one of my favourites. So I'm so excited to get my hands on new models. I haven't pre-ordered the Combat Patrol yet. I probably will though. I'll probably break and pre-order it anyway. But yeah, coming up we've got those 2 on order, and that'll be the next ones after the Wolfguard. I've probably forgotten the name. The Wolfguard Battle Leader. So we'll do the Wolfguard Battle Leader next, and then we've got these 2 new Black Templar models I can't wait for. So if you are as excited for them as I am, drop a subscribe so you don't miss the next uploads, and see you next time. Thank you.